with their abs non-existent, exposing their skeletal structure like they're on the streets of some third world country. But hey, that's just my opinion. Starve the kids, I guess. Welcome back to another lesson, young scholars. Today is the day after the 1st, meaning SNAP benefits have ended. Yes, that is true. The government has decided no longer they will feed you, okay, during their infighting between one another. And everybody's up in arms. So with that being said, I hope all y'all who have been affected by this can somehow find a way to get yours. But right now we got a video by the Poor Man's Podcast that we're going to look at and see what's really going on with these SNAP benefits.
I don't want to sound like I'm overthinking it because I know a lot of y'all can't keep up, but this SNAP benefit situation clearly shows y'all could not survive a world built off natural selection. If the government really stood back, if they just let everything go and let the world be who they want to be without them, y'all would not survive. Let's say they just only protected us from invasion of other countries, but you have to do everything else yourself. Y'all would not survive the natural selection. You couldn't get your own food. You couldn't keep your own crib. You couldn't educate your own kids. Y'all would literally not survive a world of natural selection. Y'all response to the SNAP benefits is don't celebrate the holiday. Keep your money. Everyone's going to be affected because food prices going to go up. Yeah, but this is natural selection. This is how the world moves. Without the government, right? What y'all going to do when all those wolves start attacking the sheep?
Okay, I just want to say something. You should never completely rely on the government for anything. Anything that's a necessity, you should have already planned in your mind how you're going to acquire that and keep it with no assistance. Because the more you rely on assistance, the harder it's going to be when that assistance is no longer there. Now, that being said, government and natural selection, they don't go together well. The purpose of the government is to keep out natural selection. It's to help the people survive. That's the point of the government. So I don't know what he means by this, but I mean, there is some truth. Don't rely on the government for nothing, okay? Still, the government should be providing these things, but look at the shutdown. Things like this happen. And like when they happen, shit, you asked out. You got to go get it. Because you still got to eat.
You either going to turn into a wolf yourself, you going to follow behind them like a fox, or you going to be slaughtered. That's how natural selection works. And this one issue with just benefits is showing y'all that y'all are biting the hand that feeds you. A lot of y'all are against the government. You constantly protesting. You constantly talking about them. But then you turn to the same internet where you're bashing them and you're trying to hold them accountable to continue to feed you and put food on your table.
Yeah, because that's their job. You can protest things that you don't like about the government because that's how we get change. That's how we get progress. Okay? Just because you're getting government assistance doesn't mean the government is exempt from criticism. That don't make no fucking sense. That's like saying back then, oh yeah, slaves, you're freed. You have nothing to complain about. I don't mind the Jim Crow laws and all that shit. Don't mind the police brutality. You're better than you were a few years ago. You should be happy, free, go do what you want. Also, we got these vagrancy laws, so you got to work, and if you don't, we'll put you in jail. But don't complain about it. Yeah, it makes no sense. Criticizing the government is a big part of being American. It's built into the Constitution. The First Amendment. Number 1. That's how important criticizing the government is. So it doesn't turn out corrupt. Mind you, it's already corrupt. I mean, it's destroyed beyond belief with corruption. So, yeah. Protest your government and get what you can out of them motherfuckers, okay? Because that's the point of them.
They don't have to do that. This is them showing you we don't have to do a lot of the things we do. But they understand the benefits of who they are. And a lot of people take it for granted. You can't be biting the hand that feeds you and then turning around and talking shit about the person who that hand belonged to. It don't make any sense. Y'all have to pick a new battle.
I think it means you can't expect things from the government and then turn around and talk shit about them. That's biting the hand that feeds you. Because biting the hand that feeds you and talking shit is the same thing. So that's what he meant. But yeah, you still can. You still can. You can expect things from the government and still criticize them. It just is what it is.
Pick a new fight.
You know how many people I've seen sell food stamps to get their hair done?
Oh, shit, hold on. Let me get y'all right, my boy. Come on now. Here we go. Nice to see you, brother.
Nails done, their toes done, buy an outfit to go to the club, drugs, a lot. If I've seen it, other
happens
people
all
seen
the
it.
time.
You know what? That's why people don't give two fucks. I've seen people, women, get a new man. The man got the food stamp. Now, the food stamp is for her and her kids. The man has the food stamp card and he in the grocery store buying shit that he want. People see that shit. You know what? They don't give two fucks.
Yeah, what's interesting is people will always talk about the shopping carts that are full of steak and lobster, but usually those people don't even understand that the people who are buying the steak and lobster aren't even the people who got the EBT in the first place. Usually the people who qualify for EBT, their families are so big that they couldn't even feed their families going out and buying steak and lobster. But the people who are buying the steak and lobster are the people who bought the EBT from people who were selling the EBT. So people will sell the EBT at 50% off. So say if you have $75, you can get $150 worth of food stamps. And there has been an increase and an influx and even an inflation, if you will, of EBT prices to the point where now it's about 75 cents on the dollar. So if you have $75, you might get $100 worth of EBT. So usually when you see people with the carts and they have luxury items in it, steak, lobster, anything you might consider to be a luxury item, those are actually people that bought the EBT off of other people. But either way, when you're right.
You know, I can't confirm. I can't confirm if that's true. If you know, when you see luxury items, it's mainly people buying them off of EBT. But I know that is a very big problem. I've grown up with it. People selling link cards and selling the food stamps. I've seen it. I've been around it growing up as a child. But yeah, with every government assistance program, there's going to be some kinks to work out. There's going to be some flaws, glaring issues, and this is one of them for sure. I mean, granted, this is an easy fix, and I'll probably get into that a little later. I got to see what my boy talking about first. But yeah, the system isn't just exploited by poor people, by the way. The lowest of the low, it's exploited by everyone, from the very wealthy all the way down to the poor. It is. These wealthy people will use any government assistance program to stay wealthy. That's how they do it. But let's see. Let's continue with the video. I want to hear more.
Right next to that person with a shopping cart and you had to pay taxes and the government's paying attention to how much you make to take money out of your paycheck to give it to other people, you look over to the left, your kids don't get to eat steak and lobster, but you see steak and lobster in somebody else's shopping cart, it makes you resentful, and rightfully so.
You know, some kids go to school and get breakfast and lunch, no dinner, because mama done sold the food stamps for shit that she wanted.
Yep.
Dumb people don't give two fucks. And people are saying, well, what about my kids? Well, yeah, what about your kids when you had the food stamps, you out there selling them?
Right.
What did you think about your children then?
Exactly. You know why I work so hard? It's not because I like to work really hard. It's because I think about my daughter all the time. It's because I think about the conditions that my wife have to live in all the time. So if you're going, what about my kids? A lot of people think, what about my kids? And that's why we work so hard. We don't do it because we like to. Everybody hates working, but we understand that we have to in order to provide our kids a certain life. And I don't think it's right for people who don't work as hard to be able to give their kids a better life than people who have to work hard that are paying for these other people's kids to have a better life. I don't think that that's fair.
I agree with that to a certain degree. And that degree is we're at a constantly growing unemployment rate in an economy where technology is advancing so much to the point that they are laying off thousands, tens of thousands all across America at these companies because AI is replacing them. There are literally not enough jobs now in the country to give everyone who is unemployed a job. There has to be someone who's unemployed. It just has to be. Now, do I think all these people who are unemployed are doing it because they simply can't find a job. No, of course, there's going to be some people in there that just don't want to work and they love off the system. We see that every time. That's why we need to change how the system works. Okay, you can't just get angry at all these people because some of them want to bum off the system. You have to change the system. So, am I mad my tax dollars are going to the poor and kids that need to eat? No, I'm not. I'm more upset that my tax dollars are being funded by the almost $1 trillion a year war machine. That my tax dollars are actually providing social programs for foreign countries when we have starving kids here. Education, shit in America. Teachers ain't getting paid nothing. That's what I'm angry about. Over some kids eating. But that's just my take.
Fucked up shit that people do.
People's kids to have a better life. I don't think that that's fair.
The fucked up shit that people do, people see that. So
Right.
now people are like, I don't care. Life is about to start life for a lot of people. But don't get mad when people don't give two fucks. Because we see so many people out there abusing that shit that they be like, I don't give a shit. You know, what about my kids? What about your kids? When you was out there doing that fucked up shit with them food stamps, what about your kids?
Girl Quay, and yes, we at Sam's doing the shopping haul. So y'all come along with us and let's get some stuff out of Sam's. I'm really just gonna be a very short video, just a little tic-tac, boom bam, you feel me? But yeah, y'all, let's get into it. They got some animal crackers
This look like a
for
Costco. They got food stamps
$8.98.
at the
So we just
Costco.
gonna
Yeah,
grab
put
one
those
of
in
these.
there.
So yeah, my kids like
I didn't
Nutrient
know
bars,
that.
so
Oh, yeah.
they for a box of 30 seeds for $9.98. So we're gonna
I
grab
had a
that.
Costco growing up.
We gonna
Oh
put it
shit.
on.
Goddamn.
So yeah, we already started shopping. So we got some chips.
There's
some-
not a single nutritional calorie in this entire shopping cart, and this is insane. I truly believe that if we're going to have this government program that takes money away from people who have to work hard, who can barely afford to live for themselves, we have to have some rules in place. If you can take money from taxpayers, the people who are donating their money or the money that you're taking should have a say in how the money is spent. And I genuinely believe that there should just be a section. There should be a section of necessities that actually have nutrition in them that where people who have EBT have to buy from this section. And even if it's the case that some of these farmers who are having a hard time selling their products, maybe because of tariffs, tariff wars, whatever it may be, the farmers who are having a hard time selling their products should be able to bring their products to this aisle under contract. Obviously, this stuff has to be cleared. And in that aisle, people can use their EBT to buy the things from these farmers, and then you might stimulate the farmers, and it gives you actual nutritional value for the people that are actually spending the EBT. But it should be limited. You shouldn't be able to buy whatever you want with other people's money. I just don't think that that's right. And of course, there are probably a bunch of kings.
I agree. That is a really good point, actually. Like, this cart is atrocious, and I see this all. I've seen this all the time growing up, and you know we still see it now. They just buy any old type of shit, candy and shit, pastries, all this dumb shit that they don't need. Go get yourself a 30-pound bag of rice for $15. Last you a month. Go ahead and get some drumsticks about $5 for 24 of them things. This shit cheap. I would take it a step further than having sections. The government should make whole ass buildings. And in these buildings, only food stamps are allowed. You can only use your food stamps at these locations. Now, you can do sections for, I don't know, probably smaller cities that, you know, you can't build these buildings in. But in my opinion, you should just have the government build their own warehouses. They own food markets. These are EBT food markets only. Highly nutritious food. And like you said, farmers can't sell their product, they can send them here. I'm sure they love that EBT money, government checks, because they starving for it now. Yeah, the system got to change because this ain't okay. I believe in food stamps. I believe people have a right to eat. But like this, nah, something got to change.
In the system that I just created in my head. There are going to be people in the comments saying, but this and but that. I'm sure smart people at the top can figure it out, but to just say that people are allowed to spend hundreds of dollars on blow pops that come from other people that are taking like money out of other people's pockets that have kids to feed, I don't think that that's right. There should at least be some type of nutritional value that comes with the stuff that people are buying.
Absolutely.
Look out for the kids.
It's so much food out there so much food out there other than this. Look, that's not this shit right here that you could get super cheap, last a long time. Like I said, that big ass bag of rice, some cheap meats, okay, and shit, eggs. Get some bread, throw some bread in there. Get your starches. But nah, these people want to buy this stuff. Nah, the system got to change, man. System got to change. Because ultimately, this is a system of which you should be using to get on your feet. Ultimately. Now, people do bum off the system for years and years. But hey, we can't just get rid of it completely.
Is some little bites, some hot chips, some fruit snacks, some gushes, some powdered donuts,
Wow.
oatmeal pies, some honey buns.
Oh, yeah, put that in there. That's good stuff.
Some crunch here. A box of 2 bags for 49 ounces for $7.98. So we're gonna.
Mind you, yeah, sorry about I'm pausing again, but mind you, all this, what I believe, all this is by design, really. They know you're going to go to these stores and spend this food stamp money on bullshit. They know it. They know you're going to buy all these cereals and cookies and cakes and ice creams and little jerky shit that doesn't have any nutritional value. But it keeps you fat, it keeps you lazy, and it keeps you addicted. It keeps you wanting those food stamps so you could get these addictive things. And what happens when you do that? It keeps them on it. It keeps them coming back for more. And how do they do that? They stay poor. That's the key for them. If I stay poor working under a certain limit for a certain amount of cash, I'll keep getting food stamps. And I'll keep getting my addictive cakes, cookies, and ice creams. And I can live off that, grow fat and lazy forever. And what does a fat and lazy population do? Nothing. Just like the government wants, you don't protest, you don't fight back, you take the slop they give you, and you don't complain. It's all a part of the system. Like he said, the people at the top can figure this out. They've already figured it out. This is what they want. This is it.
I'm gonna grab one of those, and they got Frosted Flakes for $7.88, and we're gonna grab one of those.
Yeah, put that in there.
So at Sam's, I come here and I get the big old seasoning salt. So I'm gonna grab one of those, and it is for $6.68, which is a good price. And yeah, let's see what else we need. So yeah, that's what we're gonna grab from the season out. That's the only thing I'm gonna get out of here. They got some olive oil for $11.48, so we're gonna grab one of these.
Oh yeah, get that. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
On the taxpayer dime, put that in there. Put that in there.
And they got it for $5.78, so we're gonna grab one of those. Like I said, y'all, the video is not gonna be long. It's gonna be a short video. So we're gonna grab this pack right here for $7.98. It's actually on
surprised
sale.
you can use EBT at big
It's
box
saving,
stores.
Saving $1.
That's
so we're
crazy.
gonna grab one of these.
It's funny because with
These were around back in the day. Whoo! People I know would have been going crazy.
the thing that's happening now with the EBT being cut because of the government shutdown, everybody I see saying that them and their kids are gonna go hungry, they look like they've never missed a meal in their lives.
All by design.
Like, we do live in a country where we have obese poor people. We have poor people. Our people in poverty in America have $1,200 smartphones sometimes. And I just think that that's very interesting that the people who are complaining about having to miss a meal look like they've never missed a meal in their lives.
With 2 ketchup, mustard, and sweet relish. Get some of this ranch right here for $12.48, and that's the Healing
yeah,
Valley
get that
for
ranch.
$12.48.
That's good.
Yeah. So they got the Velveeta macaroni and cheese, shell macaroni and cheese for $14.98. I usually don't buy these, but I ran out of macaroni and cheese, and I want my sister.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll cover it for you, ma'am. Just go ahead and get that. Get that big 8-pack.
And she had it, and it tastes pretty good. So I'm gonna grab a case of those. The twins like the ravioli, so we're gonna grab 2 cases of those for the twins. So they got spaghetti noodles, $5.48 for 6 packs of spaghetti noodles. So we're gonna go with those. Some of this regular spaghetti sauce, we're gonna grab one of these. It's a 3-pack for $8.98. So yeah, that's a steal. People grab one of these mashed potatoes. I don't know how much it is quite yet. I'm gonna grab 2 boxes of these because we go through mashed potato like it ain't nothing. And we're gonna get 2 cases of these. I don't know how much it is, but we're gonna get a case of these.
Not a single. Hold on, let's give her a chance.
I don't even know how much it is. She said, I don't know how much it is, but I'll take 2, please. Yes, on the house, on the taxpayer dollar, of course.
It's gonna be 8 cans in the pack, so we're gonna get 2 of these.
Okay, she got canned green beans. I wouldn't have gone with the can, but hey, not a single lick of lean protein in there. Nice meats. Not a single bit of bread. No milk, no eggs. The bare necessities. Yeah, this system, man, y'all gotta change it. We gotta change it. We gotta change it.
Grab one of the serve running for $6.78, so we're gonna get one of those. $6.78, we're gonna get one of these. On just the marshmallow, y'all, for $7.98. So yes, I'm gonna get a box of those. So we're gonna grab a box of Fruity Pebbles for $6.48. And a box of
Fruity Pebbles.
$8.58. Captain Crunch berries for
Oh,
$5.98.
and look, Fruity Pebbles are great, don't get me wrong, but they stick to the bowl, and as soon as you put milk in there, you better be running to eat that food because it's countdown to Soggy City immediately. Captain Crunch, on the other hand, it will destroy the roof of your mouth, and it, for some reason, leaves like a waxy taste to it.
It was so good.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which was her first option, is definitely a superior cereal option, for sure.
Liquor Trump.
Can't do Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Back when I used to eat it, tore my stomach up. I don't know if it was just the sugar or the milk sugar combination. Oh my God. A bowl of that, I'm out of there. Gone. Rest of the day, cooked. You ain't seeing me.
For $7.88, we're gonna grab one box of each.
Oh, yeah.
For the Go-Gurt, the kids love these. And the
sure they
peaches,
do.
they right there together, so we're gonna get a box of those for $10.98. And we're gonna get the Go-Gurts for $15.98. We're gonna get one of each, y'all. We're gonna get these tarts for $9.98.
Yeah, so that's how people are spending the taxpayer dollars. They're spending it on Pop-Tarts. And with the plan that I proposed earlier, I'm sure that the cookie cartels are going to be upset because EBT can't be used on Oreos anymore, so they're probably going to lobby against an idea like that. But
Of course they will. Of course they will. With every great change, especially this one as great as this or the plan he's proposing, which I do agree with and added my own little bit in there, people are going to riot. People are going to be up in arms about it. What? We can only buy these. We can only buy actual food, actual meats and actual cheese, not this processed garbage. Of course people will be mad. But the plan of EBT isn't to cater to your carnal desires of sugars and sweets and all this bullshit you eating. It's to feed you. Make sure you're healthy. Shit, you could be getting some porridge and bread. And I'd be on the fence with, maybe that's what we... But nah. You need to get foods that'll keep you fit and healthy. Lean meats, cheeses, lean meats, dairy, breads. That's all I really need.
I think that it makes sense that if you're going to use taxpayer dollars to fund your own lifestyle, you have to be willing to answer to how you're spending the money. I think that makes a lot of sense. You can't really claim injustice because you no longer have access to other people's money, and that's what people are doing now. But yeah, they're spending the money on Pop-Tarts, not ground beef, not milk, not eggs, not things that you would consider to be actual necessities or anything that
Actual
might give people
food.
nutritional value. It's just all junk food. And the fact that so many Americans depend on this system specifically in order to feed their families is alarming. It really just highlights a lot of what we say when it comes to if you want the government to feed you, well, then the government can starve you too.
Agreed, but it is the government's job, in my opinion, to feed its citizens. It's the government's job to make sure the citizens are well kept, not starving on the streets, rolling around in their own piss and vomit with their abs non-existent exposing their skeletal structure like they're on the streets of some third world country. But hey, that's just my opinion. Starve the kids, I guess.
Over 40 million people are about to lose their food stamps. Over 40 million people are about to not know how to feed themselves or their children because they've been living off the government. And this is exactly why conservatives have the narrative that you should never rely on the government. Because the reality is, if they can feed you, they can also starve.
Same conservatives, by the way, that relying on that government handout money to help them farmers. Just saying.
You. And that's why socialism will never work and is never a good idea. Yet, those same 40 million people that are about to lose their food stamps are the ones that vote for socialistic policies. And the most ironic part about it is, who do you think they're blaming? Trump and the Republican Party. When in reality, the Biden administration is the one that made welfare, food stamps, all of those programs so obtainable and accessible.
Jesus Christ. This is why I have a problem with these conservative Republican shells. These lentil bean brains. Both the Republican and Democratic Party are using you at all times. It just so happens that this time they're using the food stamp crisis as a way to push their own agendas. Both of these teams, this two-party economy, is bullshit. No matter who it is. Don't listen to either one. We need to get rid of that shit. It's been a plague on the country ever since. Riddled with corruption. One of the main factors of corruption, really. So don't listen to people like this. When they say one party on the other doing this shit, they're all doing it. Every single one of them are taking food from your mouth. Don't let them pit you against one another. Because that's the whole goal of this. Using you as a bargaining chip. As you always were seen as. Just another statistic on the paper when they look it over. The American people, just a bunch of digits on that piece of paper. But yeah, these people, yeah, don't listen to them. You could glean something at them, but take it all with a grain of salt.
For everybody. They helped a good chunk of those 40 million people become reliant on the government. Why would they do that? Power and control. If they can control the food that goes on your table, if your lights come on in your house, if you can feed your children, if you can stay warm in the winter, if they can control all of that, they secure your vote. On top of it, the reason you are losing your food stamps is because Democrats refuse to reopen the government due to Republicans saying we don't want to sign a bill that gives immigrants health care. You heard me right.
That's not the reason, by the way.
Right. The politicians that you voted in, the politicians that promised you all these free programs and free this and free that, they're the ones not giving it to you right now. You are losing your food stamps because your party...
Look, also there's nothing wrong with socialistic policies. Nothing at all. Purely socialism, it's not going to work. Purely communism, not going to work. Purely capitalism, it's not going to work in the long run. We're already seeing it now. The wealth disparity between the top percentage of people and the bottom are getting ripped apart. Further and further, it's spreading. That's why you need a mix of all these systems. You need socialistic policies in order to keep a government running, to keep people going. Without it, you ain't bailing out them banks in 2008. Everybody losing their money. The system will collapse in under itself. You ain't bailing out them farmers. Okay? 1/3 of them going bankrupt. No longer being able to provide food for the country. You're just not doing it without socialistic policies. It doesn't have to be all socialism, of course, but the people need funding through these programs in order to keep them running right. You ain't gonna get no unemployment without socialistic programs. You ain't gonna get no social security without socialistic programs. So, meaning you can't retire, which is what they want really. When you retire, the best hope for you they got is to die, because the longer you live on that shit, the more it takes out what they can steal from you. But all these things are in place, all these things to keep you going are socialistic policies, really. So, I mean, if you want to get rid of them and live purely capitalistic, you can see the dystopian that we'll go in. You could. And it's not going to be pretty.
The Liberal Party cares more about non-citizens than it does about you putting food on your table. You are losing your food stamps because of who you voted for and what it truly means to vote for people who think socialism is the answer. Relying on the government is never the answer, okay? Get a job, save your money. Just because it's in your bank account doesn't mean you have to spend it, and only have the amount of kids you can provide for. If you do those simple things, the next time the government shuts down, it's not going to make a damn difference to you because you're going to be self-reliant. But this is exactly why voting for Democrats and voting for liberals is the worst possible thing you can do.
You know, there's never a time.
Again, this two-party system, they're both shit. Okay? They just are. I don't know what more to tell you to convince you that they are, other than the trajectory this country has been going over the past 20 years. But believe what you want, I guess.
Time where you should want your livelihood to depend on the government, but there's a lot of people who do, and it makes sense. That's why the government is getting more and more power than ever before. It's because they have a lot of people that are paid off based on taxpayer dollars. They have people that depend on them to the point where they'll support anything that the government does. They'll get right in line because the government dictates if they eat or not. Yeah, but guys, let me know what you guys think about the EBT epidemic going on right now with the government shutdown. I just thought that this would be an interesting topic for.
And that was a very, very good topic. I like discussing things like this. Let me know what y'all think about this topic. Go give my boy Poor Man's Podcast a like, subscribe while you're at it. Why don't you give me one too? Because you know your boy out here, he need that. But hey, it's been a good one. I'll see y'all in the next lesson.